So it's that time of the year again, the unofficial start of summer, right? Pools are opening, grills are being fired up, department stores are running some of their biggest sales of the year. But before we rush out to the lake, before we jump into the pool, before we start firing up the charcoal, let's pause for a moment and think about and remember the true meaning of today, Memorial Day. Because today isn't just about the hot dogs, it's not just about the sales or making sure you have enough sunscreen on. It's a very sacred day. It's a day that we remember true heroes. Now, if you're new to our program, first of all, welcome. Appreciate you joining us, spending a few minutes of your day with me. But we don't gloss over the true meaning of today, of days like today. We want to truly talk about why we pause, why most people across the country have today, this Monday, Memorial Day, off. We want to honor those brave men and women of our armed forces who paid the ultimate price so that we could be free to argue politics, that we could be unafraid to worship our God, that we could barbecue in the backyard, or just binge watch baseball or golf or whatever it is we enjoy doing. We can do all of that because of the price they paid. Memorial Day traces its roots back to the years following the Civil War, when families began the tradition of decorating the graves of fallen soldiers. It was originally known as Decoration Day. In fact, back in 1868, Union General John Logan declared May 30th as a day to lay flowers on the graves of the war dead. No Twitter, no TikTok, no YouTube, just a solemn remembrance and to show our gratitude. Today it honors all who have died in service, from Bunker Hill to Baghdad, from Iwo Jima to Kabul. Now, let's be real. As Americans, we love our freedom. We like to be able to say what we want to say. We like to be able to worship when we want to worship. We also love our long weekends. We love this extra day off. But freedom isn't something that we just get. It's something that someone had to fight for. Someone had to pay for this. And that payment often came in the form of blood, tears, and the ultimate sacrifice. Ronald Reagan said it best when he said, and I quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on, or one day we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men and women were free." Now, there's a reason President Reagan's words still echo in the hearts of Americans decades later. I remember interviewing a World War II veteran a few years ago. His name was Joe. He stormed the beaches at Normandy. When I asked him what it was like, he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "It was loud, it was wet, and I prayed harder in those 20 minutes than I've prayed in my whole life." Then he kind of laughed and he said, "And then they told me that it was just beginning." Joe lived a full life after the war. He was one of the lucky ones. He came back to his family, ran a mechanic shop, sang in the church choir. But every Memorial Day, Joe would go and sit at the local cemetery with his folding chair, a black coffee, and the names of his fallen brothers. He would read through those. He would pray for those brothers. He said they didn't come home, so I keep showing up for them. It's moments like that, moments that remind us that Memorial Day isn't about politics. It's about people. It's about lives. It's about love and loss. It's about those brave men and women who put on that uniform, not knowing whether they'd come back home or not. But they did it anyway. They did it proudly. They served our country proudly. They did it for our country. They did it for faith. They did it for family, for a flag that still waves over the land of the free. And yet, in a world where celebrity tweets make the headlines, where TikTok dances go viral, millions of people see it, how easy is it to forget some of these things that really matter? I mean, I saw a teenager on social media last year asked if Memorial Day was when we celebrate George Washington's birthday. No, kid, that's President's Day. And you might want to read a book sometimes and remember what the difference between President's Day is and Memorial Day. But you know what? It's not their fault. It's not these young people's fault. It's our fault because we have to teach them the meaning of Memorial Day. It's our responsibility to pass on the legacy of those who fought for what we so easily take for granted. Take the story of Private First Class Ross McGinnis. Ross was just 19 years old when in 2006, serving in Iraq, a grenade was thrown into his Humvee. Without hesitation, Ross threw himself over that grenade to protect his brothers in that vehicle. He received the Medal of Honor posthumously. He didn't do it for the medal, he did it to protect those he served with. That kind of courage can't be taught in a classroom. It's written into the soul of our finest. And you know, for every act of heroism like this, there's a Gold Star mom at home mourning the loss of her son or her daughter. There's a dad whose photo of his son or daughter is on the mantle. These families carry a weight that the rest of us can't truly imagine, can't comprehend. So when we stand for the national anthem on this Memorial Day and we see our flag flying high, let's remember it's not just a symbol, it's a story. It's a story of someone's life that was paid in full. At 3 o'clock local time on Memorial Day, Americans are encouraged to pause for a moment, just a moment, in a national moment of remembrance for those who fought so hard for our freedoms. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're with, just pause at 3 o'clock on this Memorial Day and thank God for this country, for the patriots who laid down their lives so that you and I can live free. So today, as you gather with your loved ones, whatever you decide to do today, take a moment, tell your kids or your grandkids or your nieces and nephews, the younger generation, what Memorial Day really means. Visit a veteran's grave, whether you know them or not. Shake the hand of a Gold Star family. Pray for our military today. And remember the words of Ronald Reagan when he said this, "And if words cannot repay the debt that we owe these men, surely with our actions we must strive to keep faith with them and with the vision that led them to the battle and to final sacrifice." That's what Memorial Day is about, my friends. Not just remembering, but living in a way that honors their legacy. So raise a flag, say a prayer, and from all of us here on the show, God bless our fallen heroes. God bless the families who mourn them. And may God continue to bless these United States of America.